All right, fifth grade. So for our materials for this experiment, we are going to need a globe or a 3D map of the Earth. We are going to need a 2D map of the Earth, flat paper map. We are going to need a flashlight. We are going to need 2 small pieces of putty or clay, and we are going to need 2 toothpicks. Those are the materials that are needed for this experiment. Okay, so the first step in this experiment is we are going to see what it looks like when we cast a shadow on the globe at the equator. So remember, the equator is that invisible center line that goes around the Earth that divides it in half, north and south, right? So on March 21st, actually, the sun shines at noon. The sun shines directly on the equator. So we're going to create that scenario here on our globe. So we're going to have our flashlight as the sun, and we are going to shine it directly on the equator. And we're going to see what effect that has on the shadow in the northern hemisphere in Boston, and the shadow down here, there's a toothpick here, in the southern hemisphere of Santiago. Okay? Now, it is important that in order for this to work, and to be fair for the 2 different ones, our toothpicks need to be perpendicular to the globe, meaning it needs to intersect at a perfect angle. So we don't want the toothpick in sideways like this. We want it exactly straight up and down, okay? So perpendicular. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure those are set and turn off the lights so that you guys can see. All right, so if I shine my flashlight, the sun, directly on the equator, what do you notice? I'm going to tip this a little bit. What do you notice about the shadow for Boston? Do you see this shadow up here by my thumb? What do you notice about it? It's pointing north, right? If I shift this and I shine it down here, I shine on the equator here, you can see that the shadow, it's kind of hard to see, but look down in this area down here. If I shine on the equator, you can see the shadow is going south. Okay, now let's look at it on a flat map.